Good morning everybody, and welcome to my studio here in Upton, which is in the Broadland area for Norfolk Open Studios. My name is Bruce Rushin and I'm a printmaker, painter and maker of small books. My studio is a wooden building in the garden, and during the present strange days it has been a sanctuary for me, which has enabled me to put things into some kind of perspective. The focus for my work is nature and our relationship to it, primarily looking at wild birds. One of my heroes is a chap called Gilbert White of Selborne, who was an 18th century naturalist who kept a diary of all the natural events he saw going on in his garden. The weeks of lockdown have enabled me to do something similar, watching and recording the progress of spring. I'll now show you some of the projects I've been working on. In December last year we visited northern Italy, the site, coincidentally, of one of the first major outbreaks of the COVID virus. And whilst I was there at a Christmas market, I bought this leather-covered sketchbook, wondering what on earth I was going to do with it. And then when the coronavirus struck here and we went into lockdown, I decided that I would do a drawing every day as a kind of isolation sketchbook. And that is what I've done, recording all the visitors to the garden, whether birds, butterflies, bugs, and I'll be adding flowers if this dreaded isolation goes on for much longer. I'll just show you some of the examples. And so here we have the song thrush, which visits an oak tree at the end of the garden. And here's the house sparrows that we see every day on our bird feeders. And here's the blue tits. Currently a nest of those has just fledged, and we get the scruffy little ones that are attempting to feed from the feeders but by themselves for the first time. And just a week or so ago we had a visit from a great spotted woodpecker, which probably does lots of damage to the trees, but is so beautiful that you forgive them for that. And going on to some of the butterflies and things, here is a small tortoiseshell. I found that it's given me the time and patience to work longer on things because I'm not feeling as though there is an absolute deadline. What I've also been doing is sharing these every day on social media, and it's interesting to see the response. For lots of people it seems to please them to see what's going on. It provides a focus for their own watching as well, and then they start looking out for the same things that I've been looking for. I will try to continue this method of doing a drawing every day once this is over, because it seems as though there are some lessons to be learned from the lockdown. This is another small project I've been working on during isolation, which is a book of 5 haiku poems about birds and lino cut illustrations to go with them. The first one is of a goldfinch, and you can see the print there. The print is a small black and white lino print with some hand colouring, and then the poem itself, which is regal golden red, blasé of its own beauty, scornful of my joy. And the second one is of a lapwing. Now lapwings, when they're mating, the males show off to the females by going to some height and then diving as though they're crashing to earth, and finally at the last second turning round. So this is the poem for them. Flirting by teasing, heart-stopping nosedive to ground, last gasp recovery. This is another tiny little book I've been working on over the last couple of years. Now luckily it was made for me by a friend who taught me the method, and now I've been able to recreate it. It's a tiny little book. It's only 3 inches square, and yet when you open it, it kind of emerges like a jack-in-the-box or a sort of origami-like book with all kinds of folds in it, which enables me to actually draw on each section, and it makes for a very rich and detailed little book. It's all based on birds, of course. I call it Ornithologica, and on this side of the pages all the illustrations are in black and white, and then on the other side they're all in colour. It's something I'm still working on and still thinking about, and inspiring me to do others as well. This is the first of a series of lino prints on a theme of birds and Norwich. This is one of the Norwich Cathedral peregrines who are currently nesting on the spire. I wanted to give the bird's view of the scene. This is the second in the series, a crow overlooking Red Lion Street and the castle. I produced this print during the current isolation, and it made me think of nature reclaiming parts of our deserted cities. It is a reduction print in which progressive areas of the block are removed as you add the darker colours. Here you can see the remains of the block for this print.